Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So for Terence Crawford, look, I'm getting kind of frustrated with this whole hearing people talk about Terence Crawford and what he's going to do next and this and that and this. The bottom line is nobody knows what Terence Crawford is going to do next. But Eubank recently did an interview, and this is something that he said.
What do you think of Boots against Bud? Is that a fight that interests you?
No, he don't bring nothing to the table. He got our leftovers. Why would Bud want to go backwards? I want to go backwards. Bud looking for bigger and better fights.
He says Bud's looking for bigger and better fights, right? This is my question. He doesn't want to fight Boots, and I get it. I can understand that. Don't know if I agree, but I understand. So we can move on beyond that. But as far as Terence Crawford looking for bigger and better fights, okay, Canelo. That's a bigger fight. That's a better fight as far as the money that Crawford will make, right? But my question to you is, outside of Canelo Alvarez, with us being sensible, just knowing that Terence Crawford, with his height, about 5'8", 5'9", reach, 72, 73 inches, right? Being sensible and being realistic, what's a bigger and better fight for Crawford outside of Canelo? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Kind of hard, right? To come up with an answer. Now, when we talk about bigger and better, I'm not just talking about a fight that will be competitive. And I'm not talking about putting him in there with no damn David Benavidez and all that ridiculous shit. You know what I'm saying? Even though I think Crawford will fight anybody. Come on now, let's not take it to the stupid. Even Crawford said, some of them guys is big, too big. Doesn't mean he won't scrap. It's just, even Crawford's not going to take it to the stupid and throw himself in some shit like that. But when you really start taking a look at what's out there for him, and what Eubank wants, what Crawford wants, I don't think that their desires and dreams are rooted in reality. Wanting to get the Spence fight, that desire, that dream was rooted in reality. Same weight division. Both of those guys have proven to be the number 1 and 2, and the fight happened. The rematch with Spence, as far as what we all know, no one said anything differently. Crawford and Spence are going to rematch. Now, there's been all kind of speculation and stuff like that, and that's what we do. We have conversations, we speculate, we make assumptions, we make predictions. It's part of the conversation. Doesn't mean that, like with me, doesn't mean that I know that I'm right. It's just we're having a talk, and I think that's good to stimulate the back and forth and show we have a kind of healthy banter. But outside of Canelo, well, first he got to get through Spence, right? That's just what I know, unless something definitive comes out. Get through Spence. Canelo's a bigger and better fight. Outside of that, shit, it may be Keith Thurman, because I think Tszyu is going to beat Keith Thurman. But maybe Keith Thurman beats Tszyu. And maybe Keith Thurman becomes a bigger and better fight. But the bottom line is, where's the money at? You got Canelo, there's huge money there. Tszyu, if he was to fight Tszyu in Australia, there'd probably be huge money there. But Tszyu's got to beat Keith Thurman. But when you start really looking at, at 147, there's nobody there outside of Spence. There's nobody there that's a bigger and better fight. You bubble up to 154. Jermell Charlo maybe, but how much money does he bring to the table? Unless they can do that fight, over in the desert, get Turki Al-Sheikh behind him, because Turki Al-Sheikh will make that fight. He keeps talking about his health, so these guys need to try to get on over there and at least get a 1 or 2 fight deal in with Turki Al-Sheikh before his health takes a turn for the worse, and then that's no longer an option on the table. But when you take a look at 154 for Crawford, you got Jermell Charlo. I'll show you. Make this smaller. There's really not. In my opinion, it's a little bit smaller. In my opinion, there's nothing there. when we talk about bigger and better and what Crawford's looking for, Tim Tszyu in Australia can be bigger and better. Jamel's not bigger and better. Mendoza, Fundora, Lubin, Ramos, Madrimov, Harrison, Sora, Conwell. None of those fights are bigger and better. Even if we scroll down here and take a look at names, there's no one on here that's going to bring the kind of money that he's looking for. Not one person, right? You bubble up to 160. Right, take a look at 160. If Crawford were to fight Eubank Jr. over in the UK, there may be some big money there. Okay, so Eubank Jr. could be a bigger and better fight. When you look at he's a bigger fighter. But then goddamn, Eubank Jr. is trained by well, that's a whole nother video right there. Eubank Jr. is trained by Bomac. I believe he's still trained by him. So I mean, you know who Bomac's gonna side with. But that would be a good fight for Terence Crawford. I think it's a bigger and better fight. But these other guys, you know, Nursultanov, Garcia, Cash Smith, you know, Shiraz. And then when you come down, Adam Canuli it would be a big fight. How much money's on the table there for that fight? You know, I don't know. But that would be a tough fight for him. Interesting fight. But as far as bigger and better, out of all the names that I see on here, when I start thinking about money, I can't even say Danny Garcia, none of these guys, man. The only one out of all these names, I would say is Eubank Jr. But Eubank Jr. is trained by, Bomac. Now, when you bubble up here to 168, now, this is where you get some bigger and better fights. But, should Crawford even be thinking about diving into the deep end? Canelo, yeah, because size-wise, kind of similar. But Canelo's kind of grown into the 168-pound division, and he's very comfortable. We know that's the biggest fight possible for Crawford. So there's no need to talk about Canelo. Benavidez, I mean, bigger and better, but I don't know. Benavidez be coming in the ring like 375 pounds. Crawford need to stay away from that goddamn, that Benavidez Rex. And Billy, Plant, Morrell, Ryder, Berlanga, Munguia, Pacheco, Shishkin, Bazignan. I mean, the names are sounding good. It's sounding cool, but I mean, where's the money at? And when you look at these other names on here, I mean, there's just no money there. Not the kind of money that Crawford's looking for. So, again, it comes back to what I was saying. For bigger and better fights, there's only, in my opinion, there's three. One is the Earl Spence rematch, right? You would think that there would be some good money there for that fight. Two would be Canelo. And three would be Eubank Jr. I truly believe there'll be some big money in Eubank Jr. and Terence Crawford in the UK. Any of these other fighters for Terence Crawford, the kind of money he's looking to make, there could be big money there if he were to go, and they can get Turkey generate an interest from Turkey al-Sheikh to want to get behind him and have the fight out there in Saudi. And I'll be honest with you, as much as I'm a little apprehensive now, seeing how Turkey al-Sheikh reacted to Usyk and Fury, but you can't help but Turkey al-Sheikh. It's like I have 4 sons, right? It's like when they start getting into shit in the house, and hey, you guys, cut it out. Hey, knock it off. Hey, you're making too much noise. Hey, you guys, hey, stop fighting over there. Stop quarreling. Share with your brother. Hey, that's your brother. Don't be like that. Then after a point, it gets to the point where you're like, hey, tap. Or the talking so nice goes out the window. You raise your voice a little bit, maybe some colorful adjectives behind things, And that's what it seems like what happened with Turkey al-Sheikh. It's like, I keep telling y'all to stop this bullshit, and now y'all taking it to the stupid, to the point to where now I'm under the microscope because people think that I'm condoning Tyson Fury possibly, faking an injury to get out the fight, and you guys aren't going to put that on my name. I have integrity. We're in Saudi Arabia. We're not just trying to sports wash any of the human rights violations and crimes. We truly care about our country being viewed as a destination. And Turkey al-Sheikh wasn't going for the BS. But at the same time, you just know Turkey al-Sheikh ain't playing around. First is I take your money. Second is I take your foot. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who's going out there, I'd be a little apprehensive, but as long as Tyson Fury is the most extreme case of just a cockahole, you know what I'm saying? He is a 6'9", very loose, very stink, probably got some hair on it, cockahole. You know what I mean? That wipes from back to front. That's what he is. Just a complete idiot. Him and his dad calling everybody. What? First of all, what the F is this sausage? He's a sausage. He's a sausage. Tyson Fury is a cockahole who takes it to the stupid. But that being said, for Terence Crawford, yo man, before this man quits and retires, I would like to see him go out there and get that experience in Saudi. You know, I know he's been to the Middle East already. Saudi, I don't know, but I know he's been over there because there's photos of him and his family. But go and get that treatment. Let them take you all around in them fancy cars and treat you like a king. You know, because once you come back to the United States, shit, you hit the airport and you buy something and the person take the change and throw that shit on the counter. They ain't even gonna put it in your hand. You go back to being, you know, Terence Crawford over there in Saudi Arabia. You know, you're somebody, and they're gonna treat you like royalty. You might as well go out there and get that experience. You know, I had it, not on their level, but I lived in Saudi. And I just know this how I was received by the locals and by the people and the workers who were coming on the compound. But, you know, if you give out good, it comes back to you, man. So it's all good. That being said, Terence Crawford, bigger and better fights. Spence, maybe Tszyu, Eubank Jr., Canelo. If he's not doing it in Saudi. But if you're going to hook up and get on the Saudi circuit, anybody he fights out there is a big fight, because I think Terence Crawford could go get him a $40, $50, $60 million payday. Simple. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.